Thank you, Ray. What an introduction. So excited to be here. Very first Reading Marketing Meetup. And I'm going to apologise for having such a divisive topic title. But really, all I actually want from today is to hopefully get you questioning and thinking about your websites in a bit of a different way. And the reason why that's important is because over the last couple of decades, the world has moved on. Sales, marketing, they have moved on. But apart from maybe the design and a little bit of structure, websites are still kind of stuck in those dark ages. So, and as marketers, obviously, what you're doing is you're building these campaigns, you're putting together these, all these amazing things to send people, more often than not, to your website. So that website needs to then convert those users. So if they are going there and that website is not set up to convert them, then that makes your job as marketers really hard, doesn't it? So you're then having to work harder to drive more campaigns to the website, users to the website. You're just basically having to work really, really hard. But if, say, your website is set up to convert visitors effectively, what does that mean to you? That means that you can maybe take a step back, you don't have to work so hard, or it might mean that you can help drive that growth for the business. Really, essentially, today I'm going to be talking about what is wrong with those websites. And that essentially, all summed up, is that they are organisation-centric. And just to kind of give you a bit of background on me first. So my very first website I designed and built was at university as part of my university degree. And since then, I have worked on, designed, built, and optimized hundreds of websites. And for our clients, we have generated millions of pounds of revenue for them, generated thousands of inquiries, sign-ups, whatever, newsletter sign-ups. So ultimately, I was drawn to human behavior and basically understanding what it is that actually drives people to convert. And so I studied neuromarketing a bit and behavioral science and psychology. And so with all of that, I hope to have a bit of an idea of what works and what doesn't. And what doesn't work, in my experience, is organisation-centric websites. But what does work is human-centric websites. So today, what I'm going to be talking to you about, I'm going to give you 5 basic examples of where organisation-centric websites are going wrong, and showing you why they're going wrong and how they should be formed from a human-centric approach. And I'm sure you've all heard of human-centered design before, so hopefully that's not entirely new, but maybe you're not quite sure how that really applies when it comes to websites. So hopefully I can give you a bit of insight into that. And the first symptom of an organisation-centric website is they talk about themselves all the time. And just to bring this to life for you a little bit, I don't know if you've ever been to like a sales forecourt, or maybe a networking meeting, or you've had a call from a salesperson, and all they're doing, it's like a monologue at you, and they're just telling you all about you. They're not really engaging you in any sort of conversation. And that is what websites are doing. They are just talking about themselves all the time. It's features, benefits, we're so great, we're amazing, blah, 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 blah. They're just we all over the website. There's just no attempt to engage the user, the visitor, in that conversation. And it is possible to do. And interestingly, it's quite good to understand the background of why this is the approach. And it's a symptom that's left over from the pre-information age, which was a time when, so in the 60s, 70s, advertising, marketing was really focused on basically just listing off the features and benefits, because there were not many competitors in the market, and consumers weren't as knowledgeable as they are now. So now we have access to all this information with the web, and there are a vast array of competitors out there for you guys, the organizations to compete with. So, businesses and organizations nowadays have to work really, really hard to stand out. And if you're just reeling off those features and benefits, then that's just not going to cut it in this world. So a human-centric website essentially is all about demonstrating that you understand your users' needs. It's about engaging them in that conversation. So the second symptom of an organization-centric website is that they are just too focused on the sale. And I might take you back to that example of being sold to. So if someone comes up to you with a product and you're like, have you seen this? It's amazing. Can you buy it? Do you want to buy this now? Buy it now. That's exactly what a website is doing. So, a homepage is really, the main landing page. I know there are exceptions, but let's just say that. And, you're going on it, and in that main banner, that hero area, what's the main thing you're asking your user to do? Is it contact us? Is it donate now? Or is it, sign up for this amazing event? But they're just not ready. It's bad because they're just not ready at this point. Yes, you might have some people who have come back to the website, but you need to cater for the ones that don't know you, that aren't ready to buy at that point. A human-centric website is essentially one that is understanding of this, that knows that the user's not going to be ready at this point, so what information do they need to actually get them to that point they are ready to convert or sign up or, donate. You have to, and then you place that call to action at that relevant point in the journey. So it's really about knowing what that point is. And it's unlikely to be in that first few seconds of arriving on a website. So the third symptom is that organization-centric websites are just really vague. It's just not clear what the site is about. I don't know if I've had this so many times, but I've been on, obviously, a lot of websites, and I go on there and I'm trying to figure out what they're about, and I'm going, am I stupid? I just don't get it. Maybe it's just really complex, this subject, because I'm just not understanding it. I'm left feeling, well, I'm just obviously not clever enough to understand this topic. I'm feeling stupid, a lot of self-doubt creeping in. Or I piece together what I think it's about and then come to my own conclusion. And obviously this isn't great, is it? Because from a brand perspective, you don't want to, the feelings you're trying to invoke in your target market are not stupidity. You don't want them to feel stupid, really. And obviously the side effects of this is that, they bounce off, they're not going to engage properly, obviously fewer conversions as a result. So a human-centric website, on the other hand, has a really clear value proposition with supporting imagery, basically building a picture for the user, what you do. But going back to that, I think it was the first point I had, there is a way of making it so it's not all about you as well. So you don't have to say, we do this, we do that. There is a very clever way of doing it, but just be really clear. Okay, number 4, the fourth symptom of an organization-centric website is that they fail to connect emotionally. May not seem like the obvious choice to put in this presentation, but bear with me. So organization-centric websites, when you go on them, they are, just very dull, they're dry. As I say, they're probably just listing off their features and benefits. It's very factual, it feels quite corporate as well. And that's not great because it's just not empathetic to how people actually make decisions. Because we make decisions emotionally. As much as we like to think we are logical creatures, and we make decisions based on all these facts and figures, really, ultimately, we make decisions based on our gut feel. So they're the basic blocks of storytelling. And there's a famous saying out there, and it goes, people won't remember what you said to them, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that is absolutely the same for websites. So it's a powerful tool. So in human-centric website, the way you can incorporate this element is basically addressing the user's problems. And how you might say, okay, how does that invoke any kind of emotion? But if you hit the nail on the head, that is going to make them go, oh my God, you get me, you understand me. And they're going to feel, right, okay, I've found where I should be. This is my thing. So that's one way of doing it. And the other way is to incorporate storytelling. Now, I can't overemphasize how powerful storytelling is or can be in marketing. I'm sure you're all aware of this, but it's the basic building blocks of human life. We make sense of the world and organize our knowledge based all the way through basing it on stories. So and it can invoke feelings of trust, of familiarity, generosity, compassion, which are all great emotions for actually getting a conversion or building a brand. So, and if you're not convinced, you only have to look at the likes of the big brands out there. So, John Lewis, McDonald's. Has anyone seen that Dementia Research UK?
Yeah, I was going to say that when you said story.
Yeah, it's just so powerful. I mean, you watch it and you go, oh my God, I never want to experience that. So I'm going to give all my money right now. So it just, it makes you do the thing they want you to do. Okay, and number 5, so the final symptom I'm going to talk to you about is that they're just not accommodating. And by that, I mean they're not accommodating of the user's circumstantial and environmental needs. And the way we can see that on websites is that they're basically overloaded with content, slow loading, they're not accessible, basically. And that's not great because around 20% of people globally have a disability, and that's a diagnosed one. So there are lots of people who go undiagnosed with ADHD or autism, for example. And those kind of things can massively impact how you interact with a website and what kind of information you retain and can process. So failing to accommodate for that amount of people can vastly impact the number of conversions you're going to get. So that's 1 in 5 people, 2 in 10. You'll have to do the maths on how many website visitors you actually get to see what that value-wise what that means to you. A human-centric website is essentially one that is obviously fast-loading, is obviously accessible, but free of those fancy graphics and design flourishes that do nothing to actually aid the journey. Obviously really nice and simple and not full of loads of content. So just to kind of summarize, a human-centered website is one that understands the audience, it resonates, connects with them, and caters for all of their needs. And obviously that means better engagement rates, high conversions, and obviously more brand advocates, which is what we all want. But the real key here is that statement there, understands the audience. And there are ways we can do that, and that's what we do as part of Orange Grove, my business. It's about acquiring the information we need in order to effectively translate that onto a website. So we go through these 3 things. So the decision catalysts. So this is where behavioral science really comes in. And the decision catalysts are what basically drives people to make a decision. So everyone in this room are going to have different things that will actually spark off a decision. So they'll base it maybe on what other people are hailing about, or they might base it down on money. There's lots of different things that are covered off within that, but that's really important to know. The second is journey triggers. So what has actually brought them to the website and your brand in the first place? And once you understand that, and you can be then really empathetic and incorporate that understanding of why they're here, and that is when they get that aha moment when they're on your site and go, they know me, they know where I've come from. And then the circumstantial influences, as I've just said. So understanding those is super important, so we can accommodate for it. So, and it doesn't just mean all of those with disabilities or whatever. It also means that busy mum who has a toddler hanging off their leg, who's trying to cook and on the phone trying to buy something at the same time. So yeah, it's about accommodating for everybody's needs. And yeah, so what we do at Orange Grove is we use these user research methods, just to name a few, but these are the main ones. So persona workshops, interviews, usability testing, customer journey mapping, analytics and accessibility audits, surveys, heuristic and expert evaluations, and we all make sure that behavioural science is at the heart of all of that, to bring it all together, and then we translate it into how that actually can take shape on a website. So TMM has said I can add this at the end. So if you're interested in hearing anything more about this, then I'd say the first step is we've got a free website health check. So go to orangegrove.uk and you can basically complete about 30 questions where and then you get a score at the end and get some actual insights on how you're doing and what you can do to actually improve your score and get more towards that human-centered approach. Or you can join me on a 90-minute workshop I'm running on the 21st of November. And yeah, I'm going to be taking you through the 3-step process that we've used to transform the success of hundreds of websites, but enter in the code TMM so to make sure it's free. But yeah, I think that's it.
Fantastic.